You know, for a pay per view with 5 matches, this was one hell of a long pay per view. I mean, 4 hours for 5 matches. This was long. But was it good? Let's find out in my review. So, the Royal Rumble 2023 surely was interesting. So, the first thing that was interesting was that we started with the men's Royal Rumble. I expected a Royal Rumble to main event the show, so then I'm like, well, the women's will obviously main event the show. No, neither of the two Royal Rumbles main evented the Royal Rumble. And I kept telling myself, well, obviously, maybe the ending will be the reason. Maybe The Rock will show up. Well, let me answer this right now. The Rock never showed up. So if you were just expecting the Great One to show up, I'm sorry to disappoint you. The Great One was a no-show. It doesn't look like the Great One will be a show at this year's WrestleMania. Maybe another year or later on this year, whenever he's free. So yeah, if you're just here for that, yeah, no Rocky. So I'm not gonna go through all everybody who entered the Royal Rumble like I've done in my previous reviews. I just want to talk about what I thought were the biggest moments of the Royal Rumble. So for example, I'm just gonna talk about like what I thought were big moments. Overall, the men's Royal Rumble was won by Cody Rhodes. I think that was an excellent call. Cody Rhodes is obviously the man many hope, predicted, myself included. He had to be the one. My only issue with the way they went about it was we knew Cody Rhodes was in this. They had announced it themselves. They built this up. So I don't understand why he was number 30. I was expecting number 30 to be a surprise or something. I'm like, well, we know. I was thinking to myself, well, we know Cody's in this, so he'll be 27 or 28. Once 29 came out and it wasn't Cody, I'm like, okay, so 30 is Cody. I don't. If they were gonna do that, they should have never announced Cody returning, even if we all would have still predicted that it was Cody. But it wouldn't have been confirmed. So yeah, having him go at 30 when we knew it was him at that point, it was a little weird. But Cody winning was the best call. And I was honestly surprised how this kind of played out because honestly, the last two ended up being the last four ended up being Rollins, Logan Paul, Gunther, and Cody. That was quite interesting finale there. I mean, Logan Paul eliminated Seth Rollins. I'm assuming that means Logan Paul versus Seth at WrestleMania. Logan Paul has impressed me personally as a wrestler. He's been wrestling pretty good, pretty good. I've liked him. So I feel like him and Seth, they could definitely pull a pretty good show at Mania if they go at it. I'm assuming it'll be that since Logan eliminated Seth. So I thought that was good. Gunther being the last, two with Cody, definitely did not call that. Did not see that coming. Gunther was there from all the way at number one. All the way at number one, he was the last man eliminated. Pretty impressive. He's honestly, this was Cody's night, but he also stole the show because he never let up for a single second throughout the night. He honestly just whooped ass in that whole match. So credit to Gunther. Hopefully one day he'll also be world champion. So yeah, so that was good. Lashley eliminated Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was part of the Royal Rumble, and Lashley eliminated him. Crowd popping a big for that. So obviously they're gonna have another match at WrestleMania. Hopefully better than the previous two, because their previous two matches have not been that great. At one point in the match, Rey Mysterio was supposed to come out. He never did. Through magic, Dominic came out next. He was wearing Rey's mask, so we're implying that he did something to Rey. Took his mask. I'm meant to believe Rey doesn't have 1,000 other masks now, but whatever. I thought that was pretty interesting. Dominic was pretty in there for a long time too in the match. I mean, at one point, Judgment Day was in the match, like everybody, well, except Rhea. Edge came out, eliminated everybody but Dominic. I found that pretty interesting. The fact that Dominic lasted a lot in this match, so that was pretty interesting. And honestly, Dominic, he did his part. He gets a lot of shit from people. He did his part. Dominic, I like this performance here. And Booker T was a special appearance. Didn't really do much of anything. Just got taken out by Gunther like nothing almost. So yeah, Men's Royal Rumble It was great. Honestly, it was a great Rumble. I really, really like this one. And the fact that Gunther was in there from the beginning, Sheamus was in there for number two, and he lasted quite a while. Drew McIntyre, Lesnar being in it. I just, it was a really good Rumble. If you're somebody who watches the Rumble for surprises and special appearances, then if that's all you are here to see, I can see that being disappointing because there really wasn't any besides what Booker T. So unless you want to count Logan Paul, but yeah, in terms of surprises, that was kind of like, nah. But the performances and the wrestling was all superb. Fantastic Rumble, honestly. I give it an up. It was really, really good. I loved it. And then next was the very weird Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight. We didn't know what the hell a Mountain Dew pitch black match was, but we find out all it was is a no disqualification match with neon lights on. Wow. The aesthetic looked cool, I guess. That and Bray Wyatt had this the sign in his face once the lights hit and all that. That was pretty dope. The match itself, it was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was just fine to me. If for Bray's first match, I guess it's fine. But I'm a big Bray Wyatt fan. I was hoping for this fantastic match or whatever. But hey, for what it was fine. They broke the announcer table. They used candlesticks. Bray Wyatt won kind of easily too. LA Knight just ran right into the fucking Sister Abigail. The boom, 1, 2, 3. The interesting part was after the match, Bray Wyatt kept attacking him. They worked their way through the crowd. Eventually, they got to a point where Bray Wyatt dropped him. Uncle Howdy showed up, and he jumped from the top of the whatever the hell they're at, for where the fans are at. He jumped right into LA Knight, except he completely missed. Completely botched that shit right there, and there was an explosion. Bray Wyatt won. Like I said, the match itself was simple. There was nothing really special. The match was fine. If I sound a little iffy or gibberishish in my talk, forgive me. I've been up almost 24 hours. I'm tired. Next up was Bianca versus Alexa. I can't even tell you anything about this match. It was special. Bianca won. It was boring. I did not like this match. I like both of these women, but the match was pretty blah. And then the only interesting part was, more teases with Bray Wyatt and Alexa, but that was it. Teases. Nothing special. So it really just was kind of boring. Then it was the Women's Rumble, match number 4, and the Women's Rumble was just not as good as the men, like at all. There was a lot of NXT women here. I guess that's fine, but yeah, there wasn't really nothing special in this one. Liv Morgan was there from the very beginning at number 1, and she made it to the final 3. Because the match started, well, Liv Morgan was technically number 2, but number 1 and number 2 are literally the same thing to me. So Liv Morgan was number 2, Rhea Ripley was number 1. Rhea Ripley won from all the way at number 1. Also, I like Rhea Ripley. And the fact that Liv Morgan was the final 2, I'm a big Liv Morgan fan. Really happy to see that. So, like I said, this match was just not as good. It didn't have that, Gunther type of moment, even though Rhea Ripley was there from number 1. And it just, the men's, well, had Lesnar, Lashley, all these people, Logan Paul. The women kind of lacked that. If you're a big NXT guy, I can see you enjoying this a lot more. I don't watch NXT, so maybe that's why I didn't care about it as much. Personally, there was some surprises here. Michelle McCool was in it. She was in the crowd, I guess, with her kids, and she jumped from the barricade into the ring. She was in there for a little bit. That was cool. Selena Vega came out dressed as Juri from Street Fighter. Chelsea Green was in it, and she just got immediately eliminated. Ooh, wow, big deal, I guess. Asuka was in it for a while. Nia Jax came back at number 30, but they kind of fucked up. Her music played and she came out before the countdown was even playing. That was fucking weird. And yeah, and she got quite the pop, I must say. It was quite shocking. And then she just got jumped by everybody. And she was there for a little bit, but then she got taken out. Nobody cares about Nia Jax. They didn't care about before or now. She got a pretty big pop too when she got eliminated. So so yeah, like the women's was just I'm happy for Rhea. She definitely deserves this. It was an okay Rumble, not the best women's Rumble by far. But really, the big thing here to talk about is the main event, which was Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. The match itself was fine. Like, I feel like they've had better matches, like their last man standing match at the Royal Rumble 2021, for example. So that's the match itself, it was fine, but not as good as some of the previous encounters. But I feel like you know while the match was fine, the storytelling building up to it was a little better. But the finish of the after the match is some of the best piece of cinema I've seen in wrestling in a long time. And I am a huge wrestling fan. And this ending just blew my absolutely fucking mind. So after the match ended, Roman Reigns won with spear, blah blah blah. Like I said, the match itself, it was good. It wasn't bad. It's just they've had better matches. But the thing is, after Roman won, they just, my God, he started to fuck up Kevin Owens. Like Kevin Owens was dead. They just started to kill him. The Usos started to kill him. Everybody jumped Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn was there, kind of like, oh my God, like, what are you guys doing? Throughout the match, Sami Zayn's allegiance was being questioned, you could say. The way he was reacting to to Kevin Owens kicking out and Roman Reigns not winning yet and blah, blah, blah. So that was on point. At one point, the referee got knocked out in the match and Roman asked for the chair and he hesitated to give the chair. He took so long that Kevin Owens hit the stunner. He was able to kick out. But anyway, Roman won. Then they start fucking up Kevin Owens really, really bad. At one point, Roman Reigns brings out handcuffs. They tie him up to the ropes. And when I say they're murdering Kevin Owens, they're murdering Kevin Owens. Super kick after super kick after super kick. Double super kick, super kick, super kick, super kick. Beat down punches. The 1D. My God, what didn't that man take? And then at one point, Roman Reigns is going to beat his ass with a chair. Sammy says, hey, stop this. You don't need to do this. It's done. This is beneath you. And Roman says, you're right. And hands him the chair. He's like, I want you to do it. And then you see Sammy conflicted about this whole ordeal. Like he doesn't want to do it. It's Kevin Owens. And he's like, do it. We're your family now. We're the bloodline. You're one of us. He's holding you back. At one point, he told him, with us, he says something like, you could be in the top with us, so you can go back to doing the jackass stuff that he was doing, just last year. It was really cool, and he's there conflicted. The interesting part was that then Sami Zayn went and hit Roman Reigns with the chair, and then he let go of the chair, and then one of the Usos Jimmy just super kicks the shit out of him right there. Boom. And then he beats his ass, and then Roman starts beating his ass. Solo's also beating his ass. And Jey Uso is just standing there, and he walks out. He leaves. And he walks away. He leaves the ring. He doesn't attack Sammy. What's interesting about this, let's not forget, let's go back in time here. It's that Jey Uso was originally feuding with Roman just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So could we potentially be seeing Jey Uso go back into a babyface role against the Bloodline? It's interesting. I don't know. I'm thinking that. He did not attack Sami Zayn, even though Solo, Jimmy, and Roman fucked up Sami Zayn. I mean, they fucked him up. Like, by the end of this whole thing, honestly, Kevin and Sammy were dead. Like I said, this was some of the best heel work I've seen, and this was just so it was so well done. Like at one point when the match ended, that they started bullshitting, I'm like, The Rock's coming out. No, The Rock never came out. And the truth is, this all probably played better with them than it probably would have with The Rock, because there's just so much story here with Sammy that's like, It was a powerful moment. It really was. If you I mean, if you don't watch wrestling, you probably think, "Oh, what loser! This shit's fake." But hey, when you watch wrestling, you get invested into the storylines. It's like watching a movie. You get invested. And seeing Jay walk out, seeing Sammy turn on Roman, seeing them fuck up Sammy, it's interesting. I really can't wait to see where it's gonna go. I really for a while I can't believe I'm gonna say that. I can't wait to watch Raw tomorrow. Oh, well, tomorrow's Sunday because it's a Saturday. Well, Monday. So it's interesting. I honestly cannot wait to see where this goes. Obviously, Cody won the Rumble, so we know it'll be Cody and Roman at Mania. So I'm assuming this feud with Sammy will be over before then. So this probably will go stretch itself to the Elimination Chamber, but we'll see, man. It was really some awesome, cool shit. Honestly, the Rumble itself, pay per view, it's interesting because the men's Rumble was awesome. Then the Bray match was fine, but then Bianca versus Alexa was just blah, and the women's Rumble was just not that good. It was just not as good as the. At one point, I was zoning off. Like it was just it had me like that. And like I said, Roman versus KO was pretty good match. It just wasn't their best, but the ending just elevated that whole match to like a whole other level just because of the way it ended. Honestly, if you've been watching or if you haven't been watching, but the ending just cannot be denied. It's almost a shame that Sami Zayn's not the one challenging Roman for the belt. We'll see. But honestly, the way the ending played out, pure perfect. Sammy's betrayal on Roman, the way they turned on Sammy right away, the way Jey Uso walked out, and the crowd was so into it. At one point, the crowd started chanting "fuck you" to Roman, "fuck you, Roman." And, that's when you know the crowd is invested. Just to get that reaction. I mean, I haven't seen Roman get blasted like that since he beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Man. Yeah, the Royal Rumble 2023 itself, the whole pay per view itself was kind of mediocre. Like I said, one great men's Rumble, a fine Bray Wyatt match, a pretty boring Bianca match, a women's Rumble that was not that great, especially compared to some of the older ones. And the Roman KO match was good, just not as good as some other priors. I want to just make sure I say that because some people are just gonna say, "Oh, it's not that good. It's not good." He says it's not good. No, I'm not saying it's not good. Say it's not as good as some other matches. That's all I'm saying. But the ending, the ending was just top notch. Overall, the Royal Rumble, definitely watch the first match, the Men's Rumble, and definitely check out the ending, the final match and the ending. The Women's Rumble, you could watch. It can be entertaining. It's just by comparison to the men's, it was not as good. But yeah, that's my review, my thoughts of the Royal Rumble. I give the match, I would give it an up, but because of the ending altogether, Heavy Metal Horns were awesome. The whole thing was just that final segment was just, it was really gold. This has been Brian, a very tired Brian Redgrave.